Well, let's see. According to my it went live 12:04 PB. We put 12. Good God, man.
It says 1 o'clock where I am.
1 o'clock. Fair enough. Welcome everybody back. Much like this show, our devious co-host was running late. All in a plot to be evil.
I'm evil?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can argue against that.
You are ginger. That's your whole thing.
Well, that's my whole thing?
I mean, besides the whole not having a soul either.
Oh, okay.
So welcome back, everybody. We are here to talk about arguably the best new Star Wars to come out since Andor. Are we saying that now? I mean we're only 4 episodes in.
I don't even know what else has come out since then.
The Skeleton Crew.
That came out since then?
Yeah, that came out after.
Do you mean since the start of Andor or the end of Andor?
Since the end of Andor.
I don't know. I thought Skeleton Crew came out in between seasons.
No. It was definitely at the end.
And then what? They did... I mean, does Marvel Zombies count?
That's MCU.
Oh, you said just Star Wars, not Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, just Star Wars.
Just Star Wars. Gosh, what else came out? Did they do a season of Star Wars Visions? I know they did one of the kiddie shows.
They did the Bounty Hunters Tales. They did Visions. I don't really watch that. Maybe I should. I watched the first season of Visions. I liked some of them, but like with the MCU doing the one show, Imagine, or whatever the fuck that show was, that was good for one season. It just didn't really interest me. They had the kiddie show. But pretty much, this has been the first, like, I don't know, more adultish, kind of like in the same way Clone Wars and Bad Batch. Speaking of which, I've been watching Bad Batch kind of after watching Maul to do a good compare, because I feel like the tones of both shows are similar to where I can make a good compare and contrast, which will bring me to some issues that I do have with this week's episodes. But let's start with an episode I don't have issues with, and I thought out of the two was the best episode. Episode 3, which is...
You thought episode 3 was better than 4?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I'll tell you why.
Insane.
I think I know why you like 4, but I like 3 for very different reasons, going back to, like, our conversation with Invincible and everything. And I found out what my problem was. I couldn't put my finger on it until I was watching Bad Batch, and I realized what this show is missing that Bad Batch has. And they're a good comparison because they're about the same run times, and they are obviously the same creator, not the same directors. The writers and directors change, but they're basically made by the same person. So it's a pretty accurate comparison as far as I'm concerned. So I liked this episode, Whispers of Unknown. And the reason why this one is going to be higher up for me, and I score it higher, is because it has what I feel like this show has been missing, and that is the dialogue. The conversations to me in this are far superior. And I've said this with the pacing. I feel like this show is moving way too fucking quick, which normally we complain about slowdown, which is weird for me in particular to say, because I've said my problems with the other shows have been they've been too, they haven't been pacing themselves well. With this show, I felt like you watch Bad Batch, right? And it still moves at the same pace that this show does. But I feel like there's more moments where the characters have very interesting conversations where we can get to know who they are. Whereas this does not have that same kind of time to reflect. And why I like this episode is in this episode, you get a very good conversation between Maul and I forget her name.
Devon?
Devon? Yeah, Devon. Devon. Is it Devon or Devon? Devon. You get a very good conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed in this, even though I know you like the big lightsaber battles, but I like these little intimate ones where they're fighting, but
I agree with you that their conversation, interaction, whatever you want to call it, is the best part of the episode. I agree with that part.
I love that. And I even like the cop storyline. I like how he meets up with the All-State Jedi. I'm going to call him that. Because that's the dude from All-State voicing the...
Dude, 100%. Every time he talks, like, fuck, man, I should look into insurance.
I was like, I gotta go check my insurance and see if it's still... And we have All-State as well, so which makes this even fucking funny.
I don't think I have any kind of insurance at the moment. Might have health insurance, but it's definitely not through Allstate.
And I know what you're probably going to say, but this one we highlight the cop and stuff, but I like that. I like that they're kind of building this thing with the cop being a father, and he goes to the game and he gets interrupted during the game. And we're not really going to see where that goes until the next episode. But he sends his robot buddy Two Boots to do this arrest. And it even kind of sets up the robot's motivations, where calling the Empire is a terrible idea, but I like how everybody who does stuff makes sense, because Maul and his crew are just fucking destroying these people. Like, he literally went into a cop station and demolished everyone. And the robot's almost acting human in the sense like, hey, people are getting hurt. We are not equipped to deal with this like war that's going on in our little corner of the world. And he's not human, so he can't see the whole ramifications that are going to happen from inviting the Empire to this, what seems like self-governed planet that they don't really have a grip with. And when they mention fucking Maul, they're going to bring everything, because I imagine he's not on the Emperor Palpatine's, good list, despite being bad guy.
Okay, with where we are in the timeline, they're definitely not bringing everything the first time around. Like,
no,
if they were bringing everything, that means Darth Vader would be there, and he's not, because he's going to kill some Inquisitors first.
Yeah, so I don't think he sees him as a real threat. I don't think he ever has. The only time he made an appearance was in Clone Wars, where he fought Savage? Was it Savage or Savage? Savage Opus. His brother and fucking murdered him. Dude, that was a great lightsaber battle. But no, so I get where you're saying, and I think we're going to be different opinions here, obviously, from the beginning, where I'm going to rank the second episode lower than this one. But I loved this episode just because we had a moment to really get into these characters and understand them better. And that's been my one issue with this show. And I'll tell you what, it's not going to drop my scores low for the next episode. Like, it's still pretty high. I'm
not giving it a low score.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't drop my score, but for me personally, as my reviewing brain, this episode was the strongest out of the two, because there was more conversations, and the conversations were good. And we get a lot of information in this one that I felt like, even with a show like this, I don't think they quite got the balance of giving us information as an audience and also moving the plot. They haven't synced it really well. And this is the first season. Clone Wars took a bit. Bad Batch, I gotta say, took like maybe to the midpoint of the season when they really started having a really great balance. But I don't know what it was with that show. I've been fucking addicted to that show.
Well, we do know when it comes to Star Wars, it's all about balance.
Yes, and we have not had a lot of balance, at least in my opinion, of this show, but this was the first episode where we got the action and it still moved it, but we got a lot more of people actually explaining shit to where I feel like I could get a sense of knowing these characters, even the robot. Like I like the fact that even the robot kind of feels not even like a robot to me. Sometimes I forget that Two Boots is a robot until you see like his arms and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's not a human. They do a really good job in this show with making you like or dislike or really get to knowing these certain characters, which is another great part. And this, keep in mind, this is all fucking animated too. That's what blows me away. They can't do this in live action. It's like these animated shows, and I'd even say, even if you do like the Tales of the Jedi and all those little offshoots, I don't know what it is, but the animated shows just get it where we can't get one fucking live action thing that could do this exact same thing. It blows my mind. But yeah, what are your thoughts on episode 3? And you seem to have a bit more issues than I do. So let's start with what problems do you have? I feel like I
don't have problems. I have problem.
Uh-oh.
Because I don't have an issue with any of the animation on the screen. That was good. I don't have an issue with any of the dialogue. That was good. I don't have an issue with the way that the story played out. I thought everybody did not necessarily what I was expecting, but when you look at it in retrospect, nobody made stupid decisions. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not like you're sitting there going, well, that person would never fucking do that. Like, come on now. So yeah, I don't have problems with any of it. What I have a problem with is the editing and the pacing. Because for, I don't know, at least the first 2 acts in the show, I didn't like how Maul and Devon are having a conversation and they suck you right into the conversation and then boom, they cut to the cop.
Okay.
And the cop dicks around for a little while and you're like, okay, he's doing his investigation, which once again, completely makes sense. All of it makes sense. And then boom, we cut back to Maul. We're right middle conversation again. And I was like, okay. And then they talk for a little while longer. Boom, cuts away. And I was like, what in the fuck are we doing?
Okay, you know what? I'm not even like, because sometimes when we go back and forth, I'm like, that son of a bitch, that makes no sense. But I could agree with you there. The editing for this episode is very strange. Very, like, okay, you and me have seen all the animated stuff. So this feels almost like they're supposed to be 2 separate episodes, but they edited them to fit into one episode. Like, this to me feels like it could have been 2 separate Clone War episodes. You have the whole conversation with Maul.
You could have drugged both of them out a little bit and made a whole episode out of it.
And this is what I'm talking about, where I feel this show moves a lot quicker than most of the other shows.
We were saying how in the first 2 episodes it was moving so fast, the only thing that we wanted more. And I would say that same thing about this episode, but it's like intermittently fast.
Yeah.
Because, I was sitting there going, okay, in this moment, because of what I know is happening on the other side, I do not care about the cop as much. I don't disregard what he's doing, but I don't care about him as much because of what I know is going on the other side, which is Maul trying to turn this Padawan into his apprentice. It's like, I want to see more of that because he's a fucking master manipulator.
And that's and I think it comes back to, I think, what will be the overall problem of this show, which, to be fair, this is like the smallest, most minuscule problem to have, because I was looking at the ratings and the buzz, and apparently this show is doing really fucking well. It's definitely going to get a season 2.
I'm so surprised.
It's got the highest. It's one of the highest rated shows on Disney Plus right now. I think it's in the top 10 trending. So the show's going to be picked up for a second season, which is great. And hopefully they figure out these issues.
I thought that it already got confirmed for a second season. Did we not talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just good. It's trending. I'm just adding to it. Like, the numbers are good, which just reaffirms.
Hopefully next season we either get longer or more episodes.
I'm thinking our problems come from more episodes because I'm looking through the list right now and there's only 10 episodes. And I'm not, you know, my philosophy. I don't mind 10 episodes, but when animation at 20 minutes, you could go 13, 14. I wouldn't say 20. That's a lot. Clone Wars is a lot to go back through. Or unless they split it up like Clone Wars did, you had the first 10 did one arc and then this second 10 did the other arc. Remember when I thought that worked much better. So like the first half would be the planet, blah, blah, blah. And then the second half is the battle of
as
blah,
long
blah,
as they
blah.
don't, as long as they don't do it like the Clone Wars, where the stories don't connect directly at all, and they're like, "Oh, we're just doing a couple episodes following this Jedi. Now we're doing a couple episodes following this Jedi." Like that's the only thing I don't like about the Clone Wars is that on a episode by episode basis, sometimes it's difficult to follow, especially in the middle seasons.
Oh yeah, there were those weird ones where we were in the middle of an arc, and then you cut to the random Jedi on a different planet, and you're just like, yeah, as much as I say I like the structure, I did hate that because it took you out of both of those sections. Because even if they had two different storylines, those two would connect by the end of the season. Yeah, I remember that, and then you just had the random 2 or 3 episodes that had nothing to do with any of them. They were just like little side quests. But yeah, and this is the problem with long form storytelling because essentially the show is only telling one story. So you don't have anything to break in between it. So yeah, I do agree actually. Which is probably why my rating is where it is. But yeah, I did notice the editing too. I thought it was very odd and the interesting part is if the cuts, maybe, I don't know how they fix it. Like maybe do longer and then a different break in the conversation instead of cutting them off.
That was the only thing that in my mind would work is that instead of splitting up I would say conversation, but at the end, it's not really a conversation. It's a lightsaber duel. So their whole interaction from when she walks down that freaking corridor to the room that he's sitting in until she runs away after the lightsaber duel, maybe split that up into 2 parts instead of 4.
Or yeah, like you could have had the whole conversation when they have the tea and he's stalking her in the shadows and stuff like that.
Like,
and
right, all of the talking could have been on all of the talking could have been on one end, and then like you want to keep people in suspense. As soon as she grabs that lightsaber and turns it on, boom, that's when you cut away because you're like, oh, shit's about to happen.
Yeah, see, and that's where I'm like. The show, I feel like, is still kind of finding its footing. They're trying to balance that fast pace. This is Maul, so it's high intensity or whatever. I see what they're going for. But, and once again, this is first season shit. Like, every first season, unless you're one of those weird shows, every first season that I've ever watched, from The Sopranos to Breaking Bad, which is some of my favorite television. If you guys been on the channel, you hear me talk about it constantly. They always have those first seasons that you watch and it feels so disconnected from what the show would become because you see where the writers are trying to figure out what are we going to do? How are we going to do the conversations? Like when you watch the first season of Breaking Bad, it's almost like a fucking comedy. It's a lot funnier. And then you get towards the end of Breaking Bad and it's a completely fucking different show. There is nothing funny. So it's really weird because every year I go back through and I watch Breaking Bad all over again. And it's so funny to see how it starts off kind of quirky, math teacher, drug dealer, wacky shenanigans ensue to this dark, like life-altering decisions are made. People get fucking killed. And you just like look and you're like, how do we get from here to like here? And even the original Clone Wars, right? Remember when it first started, some of the episodes are just downright fucking goofy. But you get to the end seasons, man, and the way Clone Wars end is the bleakest fucking ending. And
yeah, they're not, they don't get you uplifted. That's for sure.
No, like you have those standalone episodes with certain clone troopers and stuff, and you're all jazzed up. But by the time you get to the end and then you realize what's going to, and even watching Bad Batch, like the first couple of episodes before Crosshair betrays them are kind of still lighthearted. You're feeling good. You know, they have the evaluation, and the Empire doesn't like the fucking Bad Batch, and you have that evaluation episode or whatever. And then now where I'm at, it's really fucking dark. And I was like, holy shit, man. And I just think that this show hasn't quite found that yet, but it's still entertaining. For me, I'm going to give this episode a 9. I like this episode a lot more. I could forgive the editing didn't bother me as much as you.
Yeah, I think that's about our only difference. I feel like as far as what we actually see on screen and not necessarily how we see it, we're almost perfectly in line. I feel like it just graded on me more than it graded on you, which is why I would put it at a 7.5.
Ooh, wow. Okay. So you took like a 2.5 difference for me? I'm not the math guy.
Because I was getting frustrated.
Yeah,
usually,
see,
I mean, I watched them first 2 episodes. At no point in them first 2 episodes where I was like, fuck, man, again? I literally said outside, I was like, are we going to keep cutting away from this?
Now, see, I'm at a 9 because it didn't frustrate me because I got what I felt like I wasn't getting in the first 2 episodes. And we even talked about it. I'm like, dude, everything is great, but I just get this feeling like they're rushing. But here's the thing. I actually understand your rating, and I can't even argue with it. Like, you have a very legitimate point because it did take me out, but apparently not as much as it took you out. Like, I just feel like, oh, okay. That could have been watching that go, ooh, you probably could have cut it like right there. But then I kind of just moved along because I felt like I hadn't gotten these conversations in 2 great episodes. So it was like I finally was getting something that I wasn't getting. And that's going to lead me to my issues because I think I'm going to be lower on the second episode than you. Because then it feels like I'm right back to the same issues I had with the first 2 episodes.
You said you think that they're rushing?
I think that not that they're rushing, but that they're trying to make the feel of this show be more fast paced than their other shows.
I mean, I would agree with that. I would say they're close to Russian, so I would say that they're Ukrainian.
Well played. So we spend a lot of time talking about the weakness, and you know what, 7.5 still great. You would have been at that 8 if they didn't cut the way they did, I feel like.
So what, the first 2 episodes I think I gave an 8 and a 9.
Yeah, and I gave an 8. I think I was about there with you too, 8, and then we both agreed with that. I was the same way.
Putting episode 3 at 7.5 doesn't seem like it's a huge drop for me. And then if you're putting it at a 9, that means it's like an 8.25.
Yeah. So it actually, like I said, too, by the time we probably balance this out, the end of the show, fingers crossed, but I don't see this dropping. The end of this show is probably going to be in 8 or 9 territory.
If we're using words, you're saying that it's a great episode, and I'm saying it's almost a great episode.
Yeah. For me, this episode's a great episode for me, and this will be interesting to see how people view it. Like, if you're like me and you like more of the dialogue and the cut between doesn't bother you as much, you're going to really love this episode. However, if you're like PB and you didn't like how they interspliced the dialogue, and you felt like you were getting pulled out, which is a valid complaint because they definitely edited it really weird. And I've never seen them edit a conversation 4 times. That was a little strange too. Every time I've watched these shows, they edit it once and then near the ending, they bring it back because they literally end on her escaping. So it's kind of weird. Like, I kind of felt you are right now that we talk about it. They could have cut it when she grabbed the lightsaber, did the whole cop scene, cut that when Two Boots rescues the people or whatever else, and then he gets called, cut back to them, and they escape, because we don't get the resolution for the cop until the next episode. So you are right. Intersplicing the conversations was a little bit weird. And folks, we're getting super fucking technical because this show is so clean and so well shot and so well choreographed that, like we said, nobody's acting poorly. There's no stupid dialogue. There's nothing really corny being said. Like, everybody does what you expect their character to do based on the information we have on them. Like, everything is structured very well. People are delivering their lines great. Fucking Maul's the MVP of this show. Like, every time, like, what's his face? We always talk about like how Maul's my favorite character, and like Sam Witwer, he's just so amazing with the voice, but not just like the control he has over it, and how this is animation. You're not getting actors with their expressions or stuff, but I could picture watching him in the sound booth as he's doing his voice work, and he's probably doing the gestures of his character. Like, he is Maul as far as I get. There's like you have Kevin Conroy as Batman, right? You know, Sam is Maul. You could never separate.
How many? They only give him freaking what, 2 lines in the entire Phantom Menace?
He's one, and it's because of how great that he is in 2 lines. He made such an impact that fans demanded more, and they brought him back. That's how great this character is. And so, and Sam Witwer has been doing Maul in every iteration. So he's just great at this character. So we talked about what bugged us. What's your favorite scene in this episode?
I mean, I'm a sucker for lightsaber fights.
I knew you were gonna go.
How could I not choose the lightsaber fight in this one? Like, it was not exactly what I expected, but also exactly what I expected, because I didn't know exactly what Maul was going to do. I had no idea. But what he did do was exactly in the character that I've known to be portrayed on screen.
I would say, I'm different because, like I said, we've gone a couple of weeks, I feel like, without any great dialogue. My favorite is the tea scene before she grabs the lightsaber, the word sparring that they're doing, and how Maul is basically like, he's a manipulator, but what makes a great manipulator is not that they're lying all the time, but they mix truth with the lie.
Well, I think he's excellent at twisting perspective.
Yes. Yeah. And in a sense, though, what makes this conversation so great, and you guys know I'm a big Quentin Tarantino whore here on the channel, and I've always measured dialogue to that, not one for one, because Quentin Tarantino is Quentin Tarantino. You just can't write dialogue like he does. But I search for, when I'm listening to a conversation, like, can you feel the intensity in the conversation? Like, at any moment, something could just happen because of how strong these two opposing opinions are. And you really get that child, because I don't know how old Devon is. Like, she could be, we're dealing with different races. She could be 15. I mean, she could be 150.
In my mind, she's a young teenager.
Yeah. And it's like a teenager's perspective versus an adult who has been through a lot of shit. And it even doesn't feel like a manipulation, but a more of just telling her what her situation is. And when you really break it down, is Maul wrong? I mean,
no, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And the great part about this dialogue is it goes back to the opening scene of how we're introduced to her character. They were literally knights of the Republic protecting people, and they're street beggars now because of the situation that they're in. So everything Maul is saying is 100% correct. Like, and she knows it. And that's why I love this scene so much, because like I said before, with like shows like The Boys and Daredevil, I like when you have conversations that directly reference without the writers treating us like fucking idiots and going, well, when you were on the street, do you remember how hard it was? No, it's just like we can infer stuff by the way that they're talking about things. We don't know if Maul really knew she was on the street. Probably fucking didn't, because he was out doing his own thing. But the fact that he would throw that in there as a general statement, like, look at how far the Jedi have fallen. Like, it's saying stuff without saying stuff. And I think this is one of the first shows, too, where I don't feel like, because Disney, Netflix, and all these companies, and I've talked about this before, have this really bad habit of having characters re-reference things we've already seen. And it's like, why are you saying that? I saw the scene. You don't have to fucking retell me. And it's for this fucking TikTok age that is on their fucking phones and not paying attention. I'm glad this show not made.
I agree with you. I was watching some Stargate, and they were doing that exact thing, but they were doing it as a joke. Like, the person, because I was watching Universe.
Oh,
the person is like relaying the information to somebody on the ship, and then they play the Kino footage, and the person says exactly what was relayed. And it's like, okay, confirmation that this person is telling the story appropriately and not editorializing or paraphrasing or anything like that, which I thought it was kind of clever in that sense. But yeah, to do something where you've watched everything happen, right? And now we're wasting time in the next scene for me to tell this person, because they got to make sure that you hear and you know what happened. And I feel like they do that more nowadays. Hello, Carmen. They do that more nowadays because people are doing a lot of listening to their TV shows.
Which, Stranger Things,
I have a problem with. Like, yeah, you will catch, let's say, 99% of the dialogue. Because, if you're reading something, or if you hear something on your phone or whatever, maybe, it gets a little garbled and you didn't hear exactly what was said. But I'll round up and say you catch 99% of the dialogue. You watch a show like this or anything else that we're watching currently, Daredevil, Invincible, The Boys, if you don't look at the screen, you miss shit that happens on screen, especially the looks that one character will give to another.
And that,
like, I mean, if we're still talking about chapter 3 of Maul Shadow Lord, like, you can hear everything that Maul says to the girl, but if you don't see his face, because he's not trying to destroy her, he's trying to corrupt her. He's trying to make her angry that entire time.
Oh, hello, Carmen. Sorry about that. I was engrossed in the conversation. But yes, Stranger Things, and I talked about this, and the more that I think about it, I did do a post where I said they stuck the landing, but I was caught in the wanting to end characters. I really want to give the show the benefit. Now, I'm going to have to do a re-review of the season, because the more I sat on it, the more it pissed me off. And the biggest thing, and this has been mandated by Netflix, the biggest thing that has pissed me off, in particular with Netflix, I noticed it a couple of times with Disney shows, not so much with Amazon, but they've mandated that. And I remember seeing a movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck called Contraband or something like that, where they were upset when shooting the film because the company mandated that they restate stuff that they had already done and stuff like that in the scene. And their exact quote was because people were probably putting it on in the background and they wanted people to be able to be caught up with the events. That's fucking stupid. this is not an auditory experience. Well, it is an auditory experience, but it's also a visual medium. I think it's a terrible practice, and I think it hurts the creative process if you have to sit there and also re-explain to people who aren't watching. Well, then you shouldn't be turning on your TV if you want to be on your fucking phone, or you should be playing something you've already seen 1,000 times. Like, I could play Game of Thrones in the background and, like, say, go on the computer and do my writing or whatever, because I've already seen it. So, like, I might stop for one of my favorite scenes, like Hard Home or one of those, and be like, oh, I want to watch this battle. But I can play it in the background and know what's going on. I've fucking seen the show 1,000 times. But I'm not going to sit here like when Shadow of Maul comes on, I fucking turn everything off. I go to the big screen TV. You know, it's a little later at night, so I have all the lights off. And I'm engrossed, man, because I want to see the art coming out. And I really love that that this show is using that, and it's not fucking trying to cater to these kids who they obviously don't care. Look, your show is not good if you're not getting people away from their phones. I think the approach they're taking to try to cater to these people is completely wrong. You need to make a show so good they put their fucking phone down because they have to see it. That, like, isn't that the whole point of a show? Is that it's not a big investment either. You're not asking for an hour, 2 hours, God forbid. Yeah, you're not
even asking. You're asking for like 45 minutes for 2 episodes.
It's ridiculous to me that we're at a point to where these streaming services or these platforms are so worried about engagement or just so wanting people to have TVs on in the background that they're like, oh yeah, just fucking state everything 3 or 4 times. And I'm glad there's shows like these. And obviously it's got the numbers. So people are putting down their phones, hopefully, and they're fucking paying attention to it. You don't need to fucking explain things. And that was what pissed me off about Stranger Things. You want to talk about, like, we had a problem with the cuts in the show. Dude, in Stranger Things, they'd stop everything. Just dead stop for characters to fucking talk about shit we already knew about. That pisses me off.
Well, not to mention, I didn't watch it, but many people told me they do that for every character. Like, one character shows up, they tell them the plan. A different character shows up, they tell them the plan. Another character shows up, they tell them. It's like, holy fuck, we just repeated the information 4-5 times to make sure that you heard it, because maybe, just maybe, you were looking at your phone.
And the thing I love about this show is you get the information once. Like, there was even a time, man, I got up for some water. I think it was in the 2nd episode.
You got to pause if you got to, leave the room for a moment.
Yeah, I didn't pause. I got up for a cup of water. I was like, fuck, I had to rewind. Like, but I like that. I like that this show demands that you are watching it with your eyeballs and you are paying attention to everything that's going on. So 9.9 for me, 7.5 for you. Pretty good. Anything else we have to say about this episode before we move along?
I feel like the cop has more going on, and maybe it's just inconsequential life stuff. And by inconsequential, I mean to the story, like his personal life. Because what now? We find out that he was divorced and she didn't die, right?
Yeah, they were divorced, and his beef with the Empire is that his wife,
she works for the Empire.
She works for the Empire. So, and I was gonna say, the cop story is actually more fascinating to me.
Well, I think it's gonna get super intriguing once we find out what she does for the Empire.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And this is good storytelling because they're giving us breadcrumbs. And with how much they're talking about this, it is going to come into play, whether it's the next 2 episodes or a couple episodes after that. But it's going to come into play. But this is great writing because, kids, this is foreshadowing, right? Like, they're giving you details that are going to be important later. And I love how it's a good it's a sign of a good creative team where they're dropping these things early. So when you get to whatever moment comes, you can trace back to them setting it up from the very beginning of the show. That is good writing. It means that writers sat down, they fucking storyboarded it, and they said, okay, how are we going to bring this back? This is going to be important. And really, though, the cop's story, we don't know how disconnected it is because his wife could play an integral role, which makes his role by default super important. And that is excellent writing. And it blows my mind that they could do this in fucking animation. And it's taken us 10 years to get another Star Wars movie in the theaters. It
has not been 10 years.
Yeah, the last movie we had was Rise of Skywalker. That was 10 years ago, wasn't it? When we talked about it?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm going to
check. I can tell you. Episode 7 came out 2015. Episode 8 came out 2017. Episode 9 came out 2019.
Okay, we're in 2026, so how many years is that? Because I'm not the math guy.
I mean, I guess we'll call it 6.
That's 20, still a fucking long time.
24, 25. I guess it'll be 7 years at the end of the year, so we'll call it 6.5 by the time the movie comes out.
Still too long.
That does seem like it's a long time, especially when you're in the mode and have the easy ability, like you're Disney, you can easily make movies. You have all of the infrastructure. It's not like you have to hire somebody to build a set. Like you got a guy, you just tell him what to build, good to go. And by building a set, it would be super easy if they did it the George Lucas way, because you just put up a giant green screen.
So what blows my mind is that we've had these live action shows that haven't even come, at least in my mind, to the quality of what this show is doing. And I mean right out the gate.
If you're talking about the story, 100% I agree. If you're talking about the visual effects, I wouldn't agree. I would say all of the live action stuff looks as good as it could possibly look. I mean, you remember when frickin' is it in Kenobi when the guy frickin' falls on that gate and gets sliced in half?
I often forget about Kenobi.
Was that in Boba Fett? I don't even remember which show it was in. I just remember it looked frickin' great.
No, you're right. That was in Kenobi, but God, I feel like I blocked that out because I was so disappointed.
Well, yeah, it's because Kenobi is built on, look at how cool this thing looks. Don't think about what we're doing now because it's dumb as fuck. We're going to do another cool thing here in a moment, and you'll like that. Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. Yeah. I did like the cool stuff. If it would have been starting from scratch and Vader does his lightsaber duel against Reva, if I didn't just see that he stopped an entire spaceship from flying away, but then couldn't stop a spaceship, but then could battle another Force user. It's like, come on. What is the consistency of the power? There's none.
And that's the thing, too, that a lot of these things have been missing is consistency, which Maul, I will say.
Oh, this shows, but it's only been 4 episodes, and I don't know if the only one that I would say is anywhere close to as consistent, if not as consistent, is Andor. Andor is very consistent, except for, that one episode 3. We don't talk about that one episode.
Yeah, that was the oddball. But other than that, yeah, consistency is great. Like we said, acting is great, animation is great. Now, when you have, and I've said this for The Boys and the other shows we're reviewing too, when you have shows that are bringing their A game, that's when you have to really get in the weeds and you have to get nitty gritty when you're doing these reviews, because if a show's really good, and I'll tell you right now, I don't know about you, but it appears you didn't like this episode as much as I did, but still, we're really grabbing at things. that actively annoy us, and it's small things
It's
because
very small.
like the average viewer, I wouldn't be shocked if they said this is a 9 or 10 episode for them, because they're not looking at it the same way. They're just like, holy shit, man, this show has just been a banger one after the other. And really, they have been. I mean, look at our look at our scores going all the way through. Speaking of consistency, we're not losing very many points, which is also amazing because this is only the first season. And I think that our scores, we haven't had anything wildly inconsistent, or just like, take Daredevil, for instance, the first 3 episodes of that show, we're all over the map on that. And, or Invincible, we had a couple that were kind of either against what the normal rating was, or we were just slightly more different than. But this show is consistently.
It's been pretty damn consistent.
So, with that in mind, let's consistently move to the next episode 4, which is.
If I put this at a 7.5 and my next one is going to be higher than 7.5, obviously, we already alluded to that. That means that all of the episodes are in the top 25%. If you're going 0 to 100.
For me, I'm not going to be quite where you are, but this for me is my 8 episode.
You give it an 8?
Yes.
I gave it a 9.
Okay. So I'll go first, since I obviously had the bigger problem with this episode. My issue with this episode is the issue you had with the last episode. Not necessarily a cut, but we're right back to moving super quickly with none of those conversations that I've been missing. Like, and I get it because of the way that they left it off, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I expected more.
Say hello to Justin.
Oh, Mr. Proper. No, I talked to Chris Knight. He has an idea for a tier list, and I will message you about that, Mr. Proper. It's a really banger of a tier list. So that was in the old Insta. We'll loop you into that one. I'm not sure if it's okay. Yeah, so see, we have some tier lists set up. I've just been waiting because my schedule is going to shift, and I'm going to have more free time. So
fuck, we should have done that tier list like what, 2 months ago?
Jesus Christ, yeah. And people
I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what Rob believed or his opinions on things, but what a tragedy.
Oh yeah, and his movies, some top tier films.
He does make a good movie, but I don't know if anything beats being a meathead. All in the Family is an amazing show. But you know what it's missing?
What is it missing?
Lightsaber duels.
So here, my issue is very small, and it's like you. I thought the conversation between Maul and the other Jedi guy, I always forget his name.
We call him the All-State Jedi.
Yeah. Well, the All-State Jedi, I thought that for me, everything was good, and then that whole exchange kind of really brought it down for me. I didn't feel the gravitas of a normal, this guy knows who Maul is. Clearly he's older. He probably knows the whole history and all of this stuff. And I felt like that battle was a big letdown for me. I don't know. It felt too, it felt too quick.
The final battle?
Yeah, I felt the final battle was maybe I built it up more, and I get we're not in the ending of this series, but I mean, I was suspense. I thought he was going to kill him right there, and then that was where we were going to get like.
it definitely seemed like it was his intention, because if he kills the master, somebody who isn't fully trained could potentially get angry.
Yep.
Angry is bad for Jedis.
Oh, what's up? Mob Rat? Mob Rats? How are you doing?
Mob Rat?
Mob Rat, yes.
So his name is Mob Rat Sex Posed?
Yes.
I don't think that. I think it's Mob Rats Exposed.
Exposed.
But I like saying sex posed because it sounds more exciting.
And funny. Rob Rats Exposed. I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? I have a few action figures of our Maul.
Are you watching this show?
And he says, yes.
I don't think that popped up before I asked the question.
But yeah, if you are, great show on Disney Plus, definitely check it out. For me, it's just I felt like especially particular, not just the lightsaber battle between the Master and Maul, but
I thought if we're talking about favorite scene, that's not my favorite scene.
Oh, that isn't either. I don't. But I felt like this one in particular was a super fast episode. And like I said, it's again the speed, man. It felt like the last episode cranked it to about 50%, and we got that good like world building dialogue and stuff. And then they went and put their foot too far on the gas pedal instead of like easing back in. They just fucking slammed the fucker on the ground, and we're back to 150. And it felt, for me, it felt very jarring.
Oh, I think that it was intentional because they know how slow chapter 3 was. So they're like, we're picking up the pace in chapter 4. I mean, the only time that it's slowed down is right at the beginning of the episode when you find out that Devon and Jedi Allstate live like the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing too. Like, I was liking that they had the conversation and you finally get a little bit of history on these two and what's going on with them, how they're living. And he's like, we gotta go. And she gives him and I also did like the character building for Devon, where she seems more of the code of the Jedi. So it's going to be really interesting to see her fall, because clearly she's going to fall. It's interesting to see how she has to talk the Master into actually going back and helping him, because he's like, we got to go. The Empire's going to be here at any time. And
we
she's
need
like,
to leave this planet immediately.
And she's like, hey, these people need our help. Like, that's our whole thing. If we aren't doing that, then, are we Jedi? And this is where I hate when they make these new characters and younger characters in particular.
I have
and
a
they give
question
them,
after you make this point.
Okay. They give them that, that bratty dialogue that we've seen plague Disney writing, where it's like, we have to do this, blah, blah, blah. And they're kind of all like, I'm girl boss, that kind of shit. I like in this show, she makes a sensible argument that a fucking Jedi would make. And it doesn't downplay his character. He's doing logical thing like, we are wanted, they will kill us. Completely makes sense for him to want to leave, because at this point for Jedis, it's about self-preservation. She's making a moral argument, which totally makes sense to them being Jedis. Like, hey, people are in danger. I was trained that we are guardians of the peace. It doesn't matter if there are no more Jedi. This is our thing. We can't leave the people in jeopardy and not help out. So I like the fact that this is not a Disneyfied, I like to call it Disneyfied writing, okay? Where there are these very almost high school arguments. This is a very mature, very adult debate, and a debate about what's right, what's wrong. And it is a way to argue your point that makes complete sense. If you couldn't tell what my favorite scene was.
What's your favorite scene?
So my favorite scene was the whole conversation between them leaving and not leaving. And I like the dialogue in particular and how they're each making good points. It's in character. You can look and say both sides have valid points. And she doesn't talk down to him because obviously he's a master. And I hate that shit. And they've done a lot in other shows where you have these apprentices that they kind of frame as being immature or talking back or whatever. But her argument is so fucking like grown up, and it doesn't come off as a child, and has a valid point to where he actually changes his mind, and it makes sense for him to change his mind because she laid out a very good argument. I thought that was it was so awesome to me to see an actual mature conversation that completely fucking makes sense. And it also sets up to why they're going to help this cop guy out. Because we saw in the last episode, Allstate was talking to the cop, and they were kind of already building that rapport. So like I'm saying, story writing is tight in this show. They do a great job of setting everything up and making it believable and making it make sense to how we get from point A to point B. And I really appreciate that.
My favorite scene was the Pyke Syndicate regime change.
Yes. So I do appreciate
not a lightsaber battle. It was a lightsaber mauling. Come on, guys. Come on. You can laugh. It's okay. I wasn't ready for the laughter. Hold on. Look.
Yes. So that was actually one of my issues, unfortunately.
Dude, the way it was set up was fucking beautiful.
No.
The guy, little Vario, thought that he fucking stunned Maul, which in my mind I was like, why is he like he's just standing here? He could take Maul out whenever he wanted to. And then he does, and I was like, shit, man. They're fucking reading my goddamn mind. And then it was all a trap. And I was like, oh, that's even more beautiful, because I wasn't expecting it to be a trap.
No, I thought the setup was perfect. They got me with the surprise. I just don't like how he's exactly killing these guys so quickly. It does make sense. He's doing it stuffily. The plan is great. I was fooled. So obviously, well-constructed plan. It's just, I feel like the syndicate part of this is being rushed a little bit because obviously we're getting to the Inquisitor being sent, given the next week's episode is called Inquisition. I feel like I want my issue is I want a little bit more of these syndicates. Now, I don't know. They could be bringing it up later, but it just kind of feels like they're rushing through these syndicate bosses. It's like, these are the most powerful people. How are they getting fucking like laid away so easily? Even Luke taking out Jabba back in the day was a whole big thing. And like literally there's a huge part of Return of the Jedi that's dedicated to him infiltrating.
Luke didn't take out Jabba, guy.
Well, you get what I mean. The plan
I don't get what you mean, because the whole point is that Maul is the one on a vengeance tour. Like, he is out to fucking kill people. That is the fucking plan. Whereas in Return of the Jedi, I don't think that they went there to kill Jabba. Like, the plan was not to kill Jabba. The plan was to rescue his friends and escape. And whatever it takes to do that. Like, if Princess Leia would not have killed him ahead of time, I presume he would have died in the explosion of the ship, which was not a planned thing. They didn't plan to blow up the ship.
Okay, that's a fair point. I still feel like the vengeance is a little bit sped up. Like I've been saying throughout the show, it's super quick. I'd like maybe more episodes of going through.
No, I agree with you that
thing.
It is very quick when you get to the point where he decides, like, I'm going after this guy right now. I mean, we killed off one of the syndicates in episode, was it in 1 or is it at the beginning of 2?
It was the beginning of 2.
1. Is that the beginning of 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so just after 1 episode, we've already killed off one. And now after 3.5 episodes, we'll call it, we've killed off another one. Not to mention, he's just keeping the third one around just to use him.
So, I mean, that is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know which plot is supposed to actually be the relevant one. Is the Syndicate one just kicking things off and the Empire one is the actual longer one? Or is the Syndicate one the long-term goal and the Empire is just intersecting and then it's going to convert? Like I said,
says it's more like the first one.
I get the feeling we're shown, which is a great sign of a great show. The Syndicate is Maul's top priority. He even says in this episode, he tries to make a deal with the cop, which again, another scene I love, where he's like, hey, you don't like the Empire. I don't like the Empire. Let's just do our own thing. I'll stay out of your business. You stay out of mine. I'll drop less bodies, make less of a scene. And, you know, you do your cop thing and we'll just call it a day. I fucking love that scene too. And, you know, it's still like, for me, the show is still kind of trying to find the balance, much like the Force. There's still an issue of them trying to balance these two things out. And who knows, in the next couple of episodes, we could hit a good stride, or maybe the Empire and the Syndicate get together to take out Maul. Who knows?
Well, obviously they don't, because we know where Maul gets taken out.
You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying.
So, okay, I got a question. I got 2 questions for you. Question number 1, I've seen a fair number of people on X being upset with the one line where the cop goes, oh, a laser sword? I haven't seen one of those since the Clone Wars. And they're like, the Clone Wars just ended a year ago. And I was like, the Clone Wars could have ended a month ago. And that statement is true no matter how much time passes. I don't understand why people are upset about it. Does it make any sense to you?
For me, when I hear statements like this, I take it as, this is a great show. And the people who, and we've talked about this before, have built their whole existence on hating this new iteration of Star Wars, they need things to point out. And it shows you how great this show is, and the fact that that's the particular hill people are now choosing to die on. And it's such an innocuous statement. It's something I've seen with other channels where they don't have anything they can definitively say that they are fucking up, because this is Filoni and he knows the lore. Everything lore-wise, everything that's happening, the timeline and everything, this is perfectly placed. They haven't done anything that's breaking anything. So they have to make shit up, because there's nothing in this show, except for if you were a good reviewer like we are, where we're pointing out structurally how the show is constructed and not necessarily what they're doing within the show. They don't have anything to really point at that's deeply offensive. Even the character Devon, you notice no one's saying anything about her. That's normally the big thing. Mary Sue, blah, blah, blah. Well, she's
that's
not.
my second question. So I'm going to come right out and say it instead of being like, some say. I was watching the review from that Star Wars girl, Anna, and she seemed to like the show from what I gathered. But what I also gathered was her biggest gripe was, once again, it's another Jedi that survived Order 66. Like, how many fucking Jedi could have survived Order 66? When you look at all of, when you look at all of the people that are like let's call them the Grand Masters that are on the council, they all get, well, not all of them, because like Mace Windu gets taken out against Palpatine, so that's not during Order 66. But when you watch the movies, at the end of episode 3, you see 2 Jedi survived, and those are the only 2 Jedi that you see for the entire original movies, which makes it feel like they were the only 2 to make it through Order 66. But then when I go back and think about it, it's like, yeah, but Obi-Wan also changed the signal to tell the other Jedi to stay away and go into hiding. And if he did that and it saved exactly 0 people, how fucking pointless would that be?
But see, even her argument, I could get behind that. Like that once again, and that's why I like certain channels. That is a sensible argument to have, because at this point in how much stuff
like that's completely a perspective argument. Because when she brought it up, I was like, it nags at me just a little bit. Like, how many are we just gonna keep reintroducing them till we get to the point where it's like, well, there were 10,000 Jedi and 2,000 of them survived. I was like, fuck, man, Order 66 sucked.
And I mean, here's the thing too, though. Even when you introduce Ahsoka, that makes perfect sense, just because of how she was so woven
with how her story played out. I like Order 66 doesn't affect her because she's not actively part of in the Order.
The Order. So that was, and that's an excellent point to have, because I felt that too. You know what I love most about Bad Batch is that it's on the clone side, and so it's a different group we're following as opposed to the Jedi all the time. And I can even get behind that. Like, I understand the marketability with the Jedi is a lot more because, like you said, people love lightsaber battles. That's just the way it is. They like these space wizards fighting each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
It's always entertaining, but they've shown with Andor or other shows, you can do other stories that are just as fucking fascinating without ever having to.
Yeah, you just have to write a good story.
Exactly. And that's my thing that I'm loving with Bad Batch, right? That's primarily, I haven't gotten too far, so I don't know if a Jedi does pop up in the show, but that's primarily just the clones. That intrigues me because my question has always been, okay, Order 66 dropped, where the fuck did the clones go? And I'm getting the answers. And I'm finding it fascinating because it's a different side of that story. And it's kind of really heartbreaking and fucking terrible.
Yeah, especially following characters that you followed for almost a decade.
And seeing how, like, even my favorite one, Cody, had turned at the end of the Clone Wars and died in the fucking ship. That was, man. But my boy has always been Rex because I like the 2 laser arresters, and I
Rex
love when he comes. Huh?
Rex is number 1.
Oh yeah, and I love too how you see him in Rebels, and he's got a gut, and he's got like,
and then you see him in A New Hope.
Yeah, and also saw him in Bad Batch.
He's all over the place. What a guy!
What a guy! Great guy. We love Rex. But no,
he's as great a guy as this is a television show.
Yes. So that aside, yes, I can get behind Star Wars Girls analysis more than I can that other stupid fucking thing on X, because it's just like, that to me are people who are just gonna hate anything Disney Star Wars does. There's no change in their mind. If it has Disney Star Wars on it, you're not gonna fucking convince them, because in their mind, they fucking destroyed it. There's no coming back. And I kind of get that side, but at a point, and I think we've said this several times, I review shit. That's what I do. Am I apprehensive when I see Disney or, something on the title? How could you not be? But I'm going to judge a show based on the merits of the show. I do take the company's involvement into account, but I'm not going to fucking hate something automatically just because Disney's name is slapped on it, because that does not mean that the director, the writer, all of the people working on it weren't fucking trying. Like, could it have an effect on the quality of the show? Sure, if there's direct intervention, and I will take that into account. Like in the first season of Daredevil Born Again, I took the factor that they had fucking rejiggered that, and you could tell in how the show was made. I took that into an account. But what I'm not going to do is go, oh, it's a new MCU show and the MCU sucks recently, so fuck this. It's just going to be terrible. Like, no, that's not reviewing. That's not objective.
What I don't understand, and the only one that I remember doing it with was Solo, because Solo came out after The Last Jedi, and I was still fucking sour about it. Fuck, I'm still fucking sour about it now. But I've watched every fucking Star Wars show that's come out since then, because let's just say that they make 20 fucking shows like Boba Fett or Kenobi. Oh. But then they make one fucking show. They make one fucking show like Andor. It's like, oh, goddamn, like, best fucking show I watched regardless of genre or network or anything last year. Like, it was fucking spectacular.
Number one,
if you give up on something, you miss out on that kind of shit. Like, I will take a lot of bad crap, and I will never stop being a fan of the things I am a fan of, which means that any Star Wars thing that's coming out, I'm going to give it a chance.
Let me give you an example, right? Being a comic book fan is a fucking chore, right? Because you guys know, well, if you're comic book fans, you know there are runs. And then they switch author and they switch writers and they switch the fucking pen guy and the ink guy and the person doing the colors, and they go into a new run. Now, I've been a comic book fan since I was a kid. And you know, you got the classic eras where there's so many. They have the golden era of DC, the bronze era, the new 52, you know what I mean? And you have then Frank Miller, Mark Miller, who are in their kind of own category because they were part of the company, but they did more adult stuff. You have all of these offshoots and one shots and things like that. Now, New 52 was arguably one of the fucking worst runs DC has ever had. There were some good shit in it, but for the most part, it was complete crap. And these runs last for fucking years. So you go through like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of a fucking terrible run where you're praying for the writers and artists to be switched over. And it finally fucking happens. And then you get like a great run where we had the best Batman run with the Joker Who Laughs and things like that came like right after that. And so it's like television is kind of the same thing. You're going to get these spells, or with movies, you're going to get these things where you're going to get different writers, creative teams. They have their own different visions, and you might have 5, 6, 7, 8 bad shows. You might have 2 or 3 bad movies. And then you get a new team that comes in and says, oh, no, fuck that. We're going to throw this out and we're going to go with what we liked, what made us fall in love with this, and bring it back. And entertainment ebbs and flows. And we see that with Maul. It's like, you know, one great positive thing I can say about this show is I get that feeling. I don't know about you. That feeling I used to get for a new Clone Wars episode, where I'm fucking giddy and excited. And I even remember the day. And you know how hard it is for me to remember shit. I'll be like, Sunday, it's time. You know, I fucking jump on the couch, fucking bitchy rolls her eyes and walks out of the room. And because she knows it's time for me to watch Maul. And
oh, cranky baby.
With the way streaming is, PB, I don't know if you feel the same way. But I felt like with streaming, we've lost that thing that only live television could do, where you had the time blocked out and everybody sat down and they knew that favorite show was coming out. I feel like we're losing that because streaming releases so many shows at once that you don't have that same feeling of being excited for one show to come on where you've dedicated that one amount of time to that show. And then the next day we could sit here and make a stream and talk about it. That's the biggest thing I love about Maul, is that it's one of these shows we watch on a Sunday. I have to work on Monday, or I do my stream Monday, but we come here on Tuesday and we could just sit back and talk about the episode, like being around the water cooler and talking about it with your friends. I think that's another great thing about this show. It doesn't feel exactly like a streaming show to me. It feels like one of those old episodes on Cartoon Network, and you call your friend up and be like, holy fucking shit, did you see what happened? I can't believe, we finally got the fight between Anakin and so-and-so. You know what I mean? Like, I got that feeling back watching this show. I almost want to call you up, but then I'm like, I messaged you and I was like, oh, I want to save my feelings, but we got to wait for the stream.
So speculation, do you think that there are going to be any bounty hunters sent after Maul?
Oh, 100%.
In this season?
I don't know who. I think it's going to be because it could be a couple people. We still got Cad Bane is still alive right now.
I think all of the heavy hitters, I believe, are still alive at this point in the story.
Boba is still kind of young. It depends on the time jump we have here. I don't think he's...
The way I understand it, it's supposed to take place 3 years after the end of the Clone Wars.
So he really wasn't hugely active.
I'm not saying he was active. I'm hoping it's an IG unit.
Oh yeah, the IG. What was it?
Because that could be, because they're all over the place. It doesn't have to be the IG. It just has to be an IG.
We also have that one guy who has kind of the samurai hat. I always forget his name. Ebo or Eba.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
He's got like the samurai hat and the two blasters, and I think he had a sword too. He was a really unique bounty hunter. I would actually love them to introduce a new bounty hunter, because we know there's tons of them. Like, I like to just get a different one we don't immediately know. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, I believe if it's not in this season, I definitely think, because we know how Filoni loves to bring his characters back, I think we'll get a bounty hunter he's already had previously in the different shows. If I was a betting man, I would probably go towards Cad Bane, because he really fucking loves Cad Bane, and Cad Bane has been in every fucking animated show.
Well, I have a feeling if he goes with Cad Bane, I think it's going to be a stable. Like, you might get your new character, and the new character is going to end up getting killed by Maul, and then Cad Bane's going to get away, because we know he will.
We know where he dies in the most fucking...
I mean, I was like, when I seen people on X say, oh yes, I definitely want to see a lightsaber duel between Darth Maul and Darth Vader, because, oh my God, who's going to survive?
Like, that's the thing too. Okay, I don't know how you feel about this, and call me crazy.
You're crazy.
But, I don't want to see Darth Vader appear in the show.
At all?
At all. And I will tell you why. This show says Maul, Shadow Lord. I feel like Darth Vader is awesome. Love him. Always had the best scenes whenever he does show up, but I feel like you take away from the show the minute Vader's in it. And yeah, it gets all the buzz and the hype and people get talking, but it kind of annoys me because it does then take away from whatever show. Like, for instance, one of the best episodes in Rebels was the fight between Ahsoka and Vader. That made complete sense. I was even for that, because that was something the fans have wanted to see. But like, when you randomly throw him into other shows, it just feels like you're putting him into the show to attract more people, and not that it makes sense for him to be there. Because remember, at this time right now, Vader is hunting other Jedis. I don't think he would stop to really go after Maul. I think he's got other Jedis that are a little bit more important to track down and kill than, say, Maul is. Because we already know Maul lost to Sidious terribly, and his brother got killed. So for me, it makes sense
his
to
mother
send
got
Inquisitors.
I do find it interesting how inside of the conversations that they have in this show, they get people who haven't watched other shows up to speed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm explaining to you how we're similar. And all of your family or surrogate family got killed off. All of my family got killed off.
And see, this is why I told you I gave 9 to the previous episode. And it doesn't feel, when he brings it up, it doesn't feel like it's a memorabilia, like, hey, remember when we did this thing? Or it doesn't feel like this is what happened on the last show.
Right.
It feels natural. It's like
previously on Star Wars Crawl.
Yeah, it feels like two people's conversations. You are trying to identify with somebody, so he knows she lost people, so he's throwing it out like, yeah, I've lost people, here's what happens. And it works so great because as a fan, we're going, I fucking remember that. And people who haven't seen the show will be like, oh, wow, he's lost people too? Interesting. Was this in another thing? And then they look it up and they go, oh, this is in that show I never watched. So this is what I'm talking about. That's good writing. The show has surprisingly good writing. Like, shockingly, I don't know if I should be surprised because I've been fucking preaching the gospel of Filoni. PB, you can back this up. I've been a staunch Filoni defender for fucking years.
I don't know if I know a bigger Filoni defender than General Zod.
Yeah, I have battled. I've literally gone on other channels. You'll know, even when we were rolling with different crews back in the day, I have had arguments about how wrong they are about Filoni, because for me, I always have these good senses, and I always call shit. I did it with the Game of Thrones. I said from the fucking beginning that was going to be a train wreck right off the rip in episode 1, even when people debated me and they were like, I don't see it. You know, I caught a few things, but my alarm bells are, I said, nope, this is fucking off. Right when people were fast traveling everywhere, I go, oh, this season's going to be fucking terrible. And from the moment I saw Clone Wars and I saw Filoni's work, because it reminded me of a sharper George. I know that's blasphemy. Hear me out. George is great at world building, at specific characters, but there's very big weaknesses George has that I feel Filoni took notes from, looked at, he goes, okay, I'll be a little bit more careful about this and maybe not throw fucking love subplots that don't fit into my stories and things like the character interactions Filoni does very well. The building upon what's already been establishing and growing it organically, he's always done well. And taking characters you think that were innocuous, don't add anything, he's done fucking really well. Like, so I never have had this feeling. To me, it's about time he's got the top spot. Disney fucked up. I think they know they fucked up. This man should have been leading it. Let me ask you something. And this is what I ask everyone, and no one could give me a fucking straight answer because they don't want to admit it to themselves. Picture Disney, and I'm talking about even the Skywalker trilogy, right? Or Skywalker saga, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Picture Filoni in charge all of this time. Doing that. I think we have
immediate upgrade, because I don't think that Dave, he may have gotten different directors for the movies, but I don't think he would have had different writers for the movies, because he would have, like, yeah, you can have different writers writing the dialogue in the movie, but I'm talking about the story writers, because he would have been the head story writer. But he wasn't given that job because Kathleen Kennedy was in charge, and she's like, oh, well, we can get this person to write the story, and then we can get this person to write the story, and they don't have to be connected at all. Like, holy fuck. And then it's like, oh, well, the person who was going to do the third one quit. I wonder fucking why, Kathy. We'll just bring back the guy that did the first one. We'll skip over the third one, and then they'll all be shit. Way to go. Way to fucking go.
And that's where I say, I think we can't, like, change the past, but I think if you just put Filoni there.
Well, if Filoni's in charge, I think that we get a story that is vaguely similar to the one that George had already written up for 7, 8, and 9, except with a couple of random Filoni characters showing up.
I was just gonna say, there would have been Clone War characters and shit that would have came back, or different ones were like, okay, if there's a weakness, that would be the weakness I pick with Filoni. He fucking loves his characters. I don't blame him. He created some fucking great characters. Some of the most iconic characters we love are from Rebels, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, all those offshoots, Mandalorian. Some of those characters are Dave's babies, and I get it, but that is a weakness too, because it's like, did we really need that cameo, Dave? This is like
I have a feeling if Dave was in charge and he was the one that was deciding which shows get green light and which shows didn't, maybe all of the live action shows get made. Maybe they're slightly different. Maybe they still suck. I don't know. You never know what's individually going to happen when, like, Dave hires somebody to do a story, and then they do a story, and he's like, yep, they did the story. And then he watches it, and he's like, oh, well, we got to put it out because we already spent too much fucking money on it. So I could see that happening, but I can almost guarantee that we wouldn't have had fucking Star Wars Resistance.
Or Acolyte.
Oh, my God.
Because just the philosophy of what that lady said.
This is a good thing. I know what Kathleen Kennedy's politics are, right? I know. Yep. Do you know what Dave's politics are?
No. Not in the league.
Do I fucking care? No. Because this is Star Wars.
I've heard his different blurbs about the women character that were introduced and very harshly mocked by the community, and I feel like that's more PR because he was under Kathleen Kennedy and he was trying not to get fired.
You gotta toe the company line.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like he had a real strong stance one way or the other. And I know people have taken what he said out of context and fucking ran with it as well, like with the whole thing with Rey, where he thought she was a great character and stuff. And if you really listen to what he's saying in that interview, he is not wrong. Rey in concept is a good character. Daisy Ridley as an actress is a fucking phenomenal actress. They are not the problem. The problem is the fucking writing for the character. I mean, here's a prime example that we love to use a lot. I love to use a lot. Last of Us. Ellie, season 1. I think we can all unanimously agree. Great season. Bella Ramsey did awesome. So then why the fuck is everyone making fun of her and hating her in season 2? Well, what's the difference? The fucking writing. Bella Ramsey is not acting terribly from a season to a season with a character she spent fucking years embodying, and all of a sudden she doesn't know. No, it's not the actress at that point or the way she's delivering her lines. It's the fucking script. It's the story that they're giving the character. Story matters. Dialogue matters. When when you watch a season of television and you're saying in your head, how the fuck did we get from here to here? Like, this show used to be amazing. What happened? The writing, the dialogue.
If you look at the actors that are in the sequel trilogy, most of the actors are great actors. Adam Driver is a phenomenal actor. And guess
Watch
what?
any other movie with him.
Even
pick
phenomenal actors cannot fix a shit story.
Even in
I mean, there's only one person I can think about that could take a shit story, and they're not going to make the story better, but you're going to be entertained. Guess who that is?
Fucking Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas fucking Cage.
I'll give you an example, and maybe
I got fucking hammered.
Dude, Spider-Man Noir, that's gonna be probably, I don't know, man. That ain't even number one. We got a lot of choices, like The Boys and Bangers and stuff, but still, I love my Nick Cage, man. Like, dude, just watching that trailer, I'm like,
it's like, okay,
it's gonna be 9s and 10s.
You can't compare a trailer to a show. I get that, but I can compare a trailer to a trailer, and I don't know any trailer for any of the shows that we're watching right now that got me as excited as Nick Cage and Spider Noir.
And that's the thing where people will point to. There's a lot of bad movies I like specifically because the movie is terrible, but somehow you had that magical moment where the actors realized how fucking terrible the movie was and they fucking lean into it. So they make the movie a better watching experience for you. Like, by, yes, technical metrics, it's a fucking terrible movie. But if you got that one person or the couple of people who realize they're in a bad movie and they fucking run with it, like the newest Fast and Furious was not good at all. But Jason Momoa fucking knew that the movie wasn't good. And man, he carried that shit on his back with how wacky of a villain he was. I am pissed if they don't do Fast X Part 2 because Jason Momoa's character, that was a villain that deserves to have the arc finished. Like, and I don't even know what his character is supposed to be because he comes off as kind of gay, but not. He's wearing those flamboyant fucking pink shirts and it says really fucking strange dialogue, but he just makes it work. And then you throw in the nonsensical action scenes, and that is what makes those movies great. They're not good. Fast and Furious is not like some fucking work of art, but goddamn if it's not entertaining. If I've gone into every movie, I can honestly say there's only been one Fast and Furious movie that just bored me, and that was Tokyo Drift. The rest of them, oh yeah, Tokyo Drift is god-awful. Nothing could save that.
So it's almost like the Fast and the Furious movies are like the Halloween movies. You just skip number 3.
Well, here's the weird part. I actually disagree. Unlike most Halloween fans, I actually really like Halloween 3.
No, Halloween 3 isn't a bad movie, but holy fuck, can you imagine somebody who didn't look into any of the promotional material because they saw Halloween 1, they saw Halloween 2, and they're like, I don't want to be spoiled by seeing the trailer or anything, so all they've seen was a poster and it's a pumpkin, and they're like, yeah, there's jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween. And then they start watching the movie and they're like, he's going to show up, right? He's going to show up? Like any moment now, he's going to be wearing a pumpkin head, and he's going to, oh, I guess he didn't show up for I guess that's the end. Okay.
You know what's funny, though? Years later, that movie has actually got a cult following.
If you would have gave it a different name,
like just Season of the Witch,
in the same way as if you would have given any of the sequel trilogy a different name, like, I don't know, if you would have called it like Rebel Moon, so now I don't have to care about any Star Wars thing to watch Rebel Moon. I think that it could have been good because there would be no destruction of legacy characters. That's the biggest problem with the sequel trilogy, is the destruction of legacy characters and lore. They're like, yeah, well, we know that you thought that it worked this way, but it doesn't.
And that is exactly opposite of Maul Shadow Lord's problems, because it doesn't do any of that.
Nope.
So,
like, we already know that other Jedi survived, so it's not like a whole mind-blowing thing to be like, oh, this Jedi also survived?
It's my only thing with this is I don't want them to kind of gravitate and use these things as a crutch. You get what I mean? Like,
yep.
I'm hoping there's some new stories we have to tell. Like, I'm okay. Filoni's trying to get people back, and I understand that. So the smartest move is to bring things back people like. So doing this show followed by Mando and Grogu. I'm not going to say the Mandalorian and Grogu. I think it should have been called Mando and Grogu. But, yeah, I'm not part of the fucking marketing team. Anyways, Mando and Grogu, bringing them back. That's smart. Get people talking. Make what we know. I know that movie's going to be great, or at the very least entertaining. Okay, get people excited again. But I think we need to move past falling back on other characters. I think with the as good of writers as we got now, right? Hire like people like, dude, bring the guy back who made Andor. For fuck's sake, bring that guy back and give him some stuff. He gets it. That was a big risk, and now people have been catching on. That show is one of those shows that I think over time is going to be like have a huge following because it didn't explode when it came out. But word of mouth is a powerful thing, and people are going back and watching Andor. Fucking hire that guy and give him some stuff. Just say, hey, this is the Star Wars universe. Pick something, make a show. Fuck, give them a movie. Like, go nuts. They got the new. They greenlit the Rogue Squadrons. I'm for that. Good. Like,
yep.
Dude, there's a part of the universe we've never fucking ever tackled, man. How cool would it be to see some fucking space battles, man? Like, look, you're a lot about the lightsabers. I love the space battles, like the dog fighting and shit. The prior military. I would be so fascinated to see a movie based on an X-Wing squadron. I think that would be fucking awesome. And you could fit it into the timeline. Well, it could still be its new thing, but it's like, you know,
as long as the freaking Asian guy shows up. From Mando?
What's that?
As long as the Asian guy shows up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name either. And it's
but I know everybody likes the actor.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you could even do stuff. We can expand out more of the Rebels characters, and the Squadron of the Ghost, and just like do a little fucking side adventure with like, hey, what was going on, you know, after Rebels? What were they all doing? Like, have a little fucking movie or a wacky adventure about them leading into Rogue One and all the other stuff, because we know they were still around during all those shows. It would just be there's so many other things that I would like to see them, and it looks like from what I've been seeing. So hold on a second. I'm just going to Star Wars upcoming projects. Okay, here we go. Because I haven't looked into. God damn, I hate when I don't put it into the Google and then it just decides it's not going to do it because I put it in the wrong thingy.
That sounds.
I mean, how do you feel about changing it up?
Changing what up?
Like, not necessarily always going back to Jedi and things we know. Like, go, venturing into new territory, like doing stuff about the X-Wing squadron, or maybe doing one on mercenaries, and you know what I mean?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let me see. I'm trying to upcoming projects. You keep talking while I'm looking up something that I want to pull up, because I want to see what the
talking about how spectacular it would be to, I don't know, get a TV show that is in the same frame or context that something like Star Trek Lower Decks is. It's like, you watch Star Trek, we're following like the primary team.
Yep.
That's all you ever do. You follow the people that are on the bridge, shit that happens to them. Occasionally, some random fucking character like Guinan shows up, and you're like, fuck, man, one of these episodes again? Damn it. The only extra person I want showing up is Q. Anyways, it's not the point. The point is, I would love to see more stuff that, let's say, is happening behind the scenes and isn't exclusively Sidious, Vader, Kenobi, Yoda. Like, we could do a show that's 500 fucking years old and watch young Yoda do stuff. Like, I would be okay with something like that. But to your point, yeah, something like Rogue Squadron, where there's not necessarily any Force users involved. Yes, please. That would be great. What is this?
So this is the upcoming list. I normally don't go through these guys, but IGN seems to have an accurate list, because I've seen this also in other places. So this is the upcoming Star Wars TV shows and movies. They have Maul Shadow Lord series season 1 and season 2 to be announced. Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out May 22nd this year. Star Wars Visions presents the 9th Jedi series, also coming out sometime this year. This was the one I was interested in, which is the Star Wars Starfighter movie. Yes.
Do we know exactly when that takes place?
It was originally named Rogue Squadron. So
it should mean Rebel time.
More than likely the Rebel time is what I'm gathering. This was a complete shock to me, because I did like the first season probably more than most people.
I don't know why you're shocked by that, and we don't know what Thrawn is doing.
So we have Ahsoka season 2 that's going to be coming out. Dave Filoni's Mandoverse is in development. The New Republic
movie. Is that like saying two things, or are those supposed to be one thing?
I believe it's supposed to be one thing, because it's
like Mando's going to be part of the New Republic.
I am guessing so.
I always forget. Mando takes place between episodes 6 and 7.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
And then Sharmeen, whoever the fuck that is, the new Jedi Order Rey movie. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excitement for that one.
I mean, God, I would be if that was all it was, I could be excited for it, because if I could forget the sequel trilogy, I wouldn't know who Rey is, and I'd be like, "Oh, new Jedi Order, yes, please." Like, that sounds cool, but then when you know what it's going to be connected to, you're like, I don't know, man. Like, what character can we introduce to essentially call all of episodes 7, 8, and 9 somebody's fever dream? Because, my God.
We have Simon Kinberg's Star Wars trilogy.
Who the fuck is Simon Kinberg? What did he make?
I haven't the foggiest. I can put that in the Google. Let's look up.
Because I've never heard that name before. Like, I've heard Taika Waititi before. I've heard James Mangold before. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know that I've heard his name before. I had never heard Simon Kinberg.
Okay, so let me see. Just bring up his IMDb. Jesus Christ. Well, already he's got a show that I really like called Invasion. Oh. Wait until you hear this list. The Martian, Logan, X-Men Days of Future Past, and then we'll forget about Fantastic Four. He did the terrible Fantastic Four movie, but that was after he was brought on. That movie had a bunch
He
of...
did.
It had
the
issues.
shitty one with Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah. But remember, they said that they had brought in a director.
He wrote these or he directed these that you just listed?
He was a producer on... Oh, he was a producer on all of these.
So he's producing the Star Wars trilogy. He's not necessarily writing it?
No, it says he's writing this one.
Which is fine. I mean, with that list of stuff, like, I'm not going to say no to that. That's for sure.
Oh, wow.
I do like the fact that it just says Star Wars trilogy.
He was a producer on Deadpool, Chappie. Wow, he's worked on a lot of stuff.
So he's got a good track record. That's good.
And do you notice the stuff I brought up? A lot of it's sci-fi or superhero.
Well, that's good. So
this is what we're talking about when you're hiring people to get these projects, which Kathleen Kennedy did not give a flying fuck on. It looks like
are you gay enough to write this? You are? Excellent.
Yeah, this to me makes complete sense and actually makes me excited if this guy is working on the new Star Wars trilogy. We have the Hunt for Ben Solo movie.
Yeah, I don't think that one's moving forward.
Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie. I'm 50-50 after Thor Love and Thunder. That movie fucking scarred me. You know how I feel about that movie. James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi. If you don't know, James Mangold is the one who wrote Logan and
Dawn of the Jedi makes it sound like it takes place 200,000 years ago.
I'm fine with that. James Mangold is
why is the next one on there? Billy D is dead. I don't care about Dong Lover.
No, Rogue Squadron's here, so I wonder what Rogue Squadron's
it says Star Wars Lando movie.
No, I'm talking about this one was Star Wars Starfighter movie, and then this one was Rogue Squadron. So these must be two different. We're getting two different fighter pilot movies. I'm excited about that. Lando movie, I don't give a shit about. Like you said, he's dead. We made this mistake with Solo. I don't think they should do that. We're getting a Mandalorian.
The reason, like, I'm saying that the actor that portrays him is dead, which obviously I know that the Dong Lover played Lando in the new movie. Like, I get it. But I don't fucking care about him at all. Not one fucking bit.
The Mandalorian season 4, which means probably this movie is going to lead into that season, and gotta help us, the Book of Boba Fett season 2. Well, I
don't know. Okay, what is going to be different about this production that makes it a full-fledged movie compared to the seasons that we've watched before, and according to this, the season that we will watch after? Like, to me, it just seems like they're making an extra long episode of Mando and deciding to release it in theaters.
I am fine with that because let's think about it monetarily. I think it's a way because they know a lot of people like Grogu, a lot of people like Mando. And if you tell a normal, because we're looking at it as Star Wars fans, but look at it as normies. If you say, hey, that thing's coming out with Baby Yoda and I need something to take the kids to, right? This should be fun. We all sat back as a family and watched it on, Disney Plus. I think it's actually a really very smart strategy because you're creating the reason for them to make movies, and Filoni's got to answer to a board like everybody else. So if this movie does really well, he can go, hey, we brought Mando and Grogu. Let's make Rogue Squadron the movie, right? I think it'll make it easier for him to pitch other Star Wars projects that will feel like movies. I think it's actually pretty clever to take your most popular by the normal, television movie.
Grogu is easily the most popular thing that Disney has ever made Star Wars wise.
Yes, and the most ones that most people can identify with and will know what you're talking about. Like if you and me go and we're like, you see the new Maul Shadow Lord animation, dude, that shit is. I have a feeling a lot of normies would not know, or they just say, "Oh, you mean that cartoon they keep on promoting? I don't watch cartoons." You know what I mean? That's the biggest fucking argument. It's a cartoon. And it's also an argument I've had about anime. Where you go, oh, I'm watching My Hero Academia, and they'd be like, oh,
I don't
that
know.
sounds
I feel like a lot of people in their mind, when they think cartoon, they're thinking like Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, Looney Tunes. Like that's what people are thinking when they think cartoons. But to you and me, a cartoon is like an animated series, like Maul Shadow Lord, or the Clone Wars, or Dragon Ball Z. Like, yeah, it's a cartoon in the general scope of what cartoon means, but it is not the connotation that people would like. There are no through storylines in a cartoon in the traditional sense.
And
like
also,
you watch an episode of the Flintstones, and then you can watch another episode of the Flintstones, and there's nothing that
connects them
through.
And I've done it where like my mother's odd, she likes Star Wars, certain movies. Not a big fan like us, but she likes the property. She will allow it to be played. I told her, oh, the Mandalorian movie's coming out. She goes, we gotta go and see that. I like that little guy and stuff. Now, I tell her, hey, Ma, you gotta check out the Clone Wars. She's like, oh, that sounds interesting. And she goes to flip it on, sees this cartoon. She's like, come on, I don't watch cartoons. It's like, it's not the same. But
it's not the same.
But to her, like you said, she'll even tell you she loves Looney Tunes. She loves Bugs Bunny. If it's on, she'll let it play in the background, but she ain't gonna actively seek it out. And I think the younger generation's a little bit different. They're more like us, where they're like, oh yeah, they'll debate like Clone Wars was not better than this show, blah blah blah, or they picked a shitty Resistance show or something. But they are at least in the same ballpark we are. They realize it is not a cartoon in the way that like someone older pictures a cartoon, especially with anime exploding how it has. And the great thing about anime is I think it has turned a lot of adults to realizing like, hey, why is this cartoon showing someone being decapitated? That's not very family friendly. So that's one great thing anime has done, because it's made a lot of people realize that, and bless the Japanese, that you can do some fucking crazy shit in animation that's just as an adult as a television show or a movie. Sometimes worse, depending on what anime you watch. I still can't get you to watch Attack on Titans because of the big naked dudes. You're like, watch what episode? You're like, nope, I'm out.
What show?
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I keep seeing these posts on X about, would this character be able to defeat the Titan? And I was like, probably not, and I haven't watched the show. It's a Titan. One of them was Spider-Man, and I was like, who the fuck is even posing a question like this?
Not saying I've posed those questions, or me and Perp.
It definitely was not your account.
No, but I have answered those questions. and I've had those debates, but no. Could Maul defeat a Titan? Do you think?
I mean, probably if he did it Shadow of the Colossus style.
That's exactly how they beat them in the show. So I could totally picture Maul taking out a Titan if we're being real. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to watch the show, but like LB said, like, why are you having me look at naked men on screen running around? This is wrong.
I mean, it's not wrong, but I feel like
I don't need them to fight like the Greeks.
I feel like you guys have boiled it down to the simplest.
Okay, when you watch, so let's give a little context here. Just a little bit of context. It's like, hey, you should watch Attack on Titan. Boom, naked men running around. Thanks for that recommendation. And then you say to me, well, you should watch High School of the Damned. No naked men running around in that show. I watched every second of it.
Because I realized with anime, I gotta suggest something that is gonna hook you right away. And I was like, I went about this wrong. I should have started you here.
Yep.
Because then when I suggest something else, now what's in your mind is, well, High School of the Damned was one of my favorite animes ever.
It's a spectacular show. It's really disappointing that he died.
It pisses me off too that we will never get to conclusion. I'm so mad about that. Another one.
I mean, for how completely ridiculous of it, I was unbelievably surprised at how tight of a story it actually is telling.
Oh yeah, amazing. And as a matter of fact, my second hook, I propose now live. If you like superheroes, you should check out My Hero Academia.
Probably not. Wouldn't that have like fucking 20 seasons?
No, well, technically 4. There's just a lot of episodes. Trust me, you get into the first episode, you're gonna be hooked because it is like everything you love about the MCU.
Do you want to know what else I love?
What?
Saving 15% on a movie palette at moviepalette.com, which I can do right now by using code ZONE15, and I help out my favorite YouTube villain, General Zod.
Goodness. You know what's crazy? If you look at the link in the description, not only can you get to moviepalette.com, but I have the code right up there. You just copy, paste, boom. You don't even have to really put any work into it. You don't here on the channel, I don't even want you typing shit out. Copy, paste. That's the model here.
And they got a nice quality search tool on the website. You just punch in what you want to see, and odds are, especially if it's a movie, because I know they have some TV shows now too. Odds are, if it's a movie that has come out over a year ago, they're going to have the movie palette that you're looking for. And if it's on sale, you still save 15% off of the sale price.
Which is amazing. No other site, like literally, there's no other site that I know where I have put in like an offer, because you got a lot of YouTubers who do these promotions and offers, and I've never seen a site where you also get the codes discount on top of a sales discount. It's normally you can only get their sale or you get the person's discount, but they don't combine them. But not moviepalette.com. They say, hey, you're going to save the sale price and you're going to get the promo code price, which I think is unique. I don't know about you. I haven't seen a website that does that where you get two savings. It's kind of wacky.
It's a pretty rare thing. Well, you'd
so
have
go to
search
moviepalette.com.
Somebody else that lets you save money on top of saving money.
And what's the famous thing you always say?
If you order today, guaranteed to arrive before Christmas.
Anyways, this one's only 2 hours. It's kind of funny. I say we're only doing 2 hours today because it's a shorter show.
You said that? I do not remember you saying that.
No, I'm gonna say it today. We only got a 2-hour stream for you because it's a shorter show, so we can't be going 4 hours. There's really nothing much more to talk about. We've broken it down to its most fucking minutia details. So this isn't a 4-hour show. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta scale this one back. I don't know how many streamers that can sit here and talk about Maul for 2 hours.
I mean, I know we could shorten it way down and not really talk about stuff and give you our opinions and give you some context and compare and contrast it to other shows within and without and out. I don't know how to say that. Inside and outside of the Star Wars universe. But fuck, that wouldn't be any fun.
No, and then you wouldn't get random discussions like about Nick Cage or DC or the MCU. Then you wouldn't be.
Those are the best parts of our streams. The left turns.
So thank you guys for watching. I've got a new game that came out, Hades 2, so I'm gonna go and play that. I was super excited. It finally came out for PS5. I've been playing it on the laptop, which is fine, but the screen's smaller, so not really getting a feel of going back to hell or Olympus. Don't want to do spoilers, but you get 2 big stages for this one. So, whoa!
That was
you got,
a
like
a motorcycle.
I thought you had a raincore in the back. Like, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Do the like, share, subscribe, and definitely watch because we need watch time. Fuck, don't even watch. This is kind of like a podcast. Just throw the shit on in the background, do some dishes, take a nap, fucking, put it on in the background.
We're not a TV show. You don't have to see the visuals in order to get all of the context.
Yeah, so for all you people doom scrolling on your phone, grab a different device, play us in the background, and then boom, you could just look at the funny cat videos and all the other shit while you're listening to our majestic voices. So thank you everybody for watching. We will be back tomorrow. I guess we're doing all the shows again. We're probably going to have to go on earlier because we got Daredevil, The Boys, and Invincible. Pretty soon we're going to be down to like 2 shows.
We got 2 more weeks of Invincible.
And then we'll be down to just Daredevil and The Boys. And then we don't really got that much.
And then
left.
we'll have 2 more reviews of all 3. And then after that, we would have 2 more reviews of the 2 of them. Because I want to say Daredevil is 8 episodes this season.
Yep. And then we
would have 3 weeks of just The Boys, I think.
Yeah.
Because they released 2 episodes at first, so now we'll be on episode 3. Maybe it'll only be 1 episode of The Boys. I don't know. I have to look at the numbers again.
But it'll be great because it'll just be 1, 1, and 1 instead of 1 episode 2. That's so long was the back half.
Really waited the back half of the stream that time.
Oh yeah, that was the monster. But now we'll be back to 1, and then it'll just be 2 episodes of 2 different shows. We'll probably compare and contrast, and then we'll be down to just The Boys. So
when we get finales, we might have to split them, guy. Like, if the finales of all of these shows are as good as I think they can be, they might warrant separate streams.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes because the finale of Invincible, I may actually maybe we do that night or the next morning, and then at night we could do. Well,
we definitely ain't doing it at night because it don't release until fucking 2 a.m. where you are.
Oh, that's right. So that'd be what?
Like, yeah, we could potentially stay up and try and do that, but I don't think that's going to be a very entertaining stream with us trying to focus on both while being tired as fuck.
True. Yeah, so maybe we do the finale like at this time, and then later that night we do the other 2 episodes. We'll cross that and burn that bridge when we get to it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all later. As always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone. Kneel before
Maul.
beats me